Hello, welcome back. Nigel here with you, Nigel's Modelling Bench. And in a continuation from yesterday's quick review I did of this new airbrush from Gaahleri, whatever you want to call them. This is the Mobius SP. Go back and take a look at that little quick review if you haven't already seen it. And in the bottom of that video, and in the bottom of this video, in the description below the video, there is a code you can use, a link to the website where you can go and have a look at all the specs of all the items they have, and order anything you want using that link. And if you use the code NMB, you will get 10% off. So and that is generally, I'm not saying always, but that is generally also works in addition to any other savings. So well worth a look. So this is the Mobius SP. As you can see, I've got it on the lovely little Gaahleri stand here. They do these little stands you can buy for sort of displaying the airbrush, if you like. It's a handy stand. It's very weighty, so it doesn't topple over easy, and they are fairly cheap as well. And also you have the option to have it lower as well, which makes it even more stable. So I've got a feeling with this one, no, with this one you can actually just use the lower setting, so you don't have to have the base, the extension, but you do really need it to keep the paint jar off the ground. So the big feature with this airbrush is the fact that it's a siphon airbrush, and as you can see, it has a like the old Humbrol type. Here's the old Humbrol jar I used to keep my water in. Remember these old Humbrol airbrushes, or Badger, whatever they were. But this is a similar thing. It's a glass bottle with a metal cap, so it's very, very nice. It's a simple taper fit, so it fits in there easily and doesn't fall out. I have quickly tested it on some paper just to make sure it's all set up okay. The paint that's in there is Mr. Finishing Surfacer, easy for you to say, 1500 black, and it's thinned roughly 50-50 with Mr. Colour Leveling Thinner. Now people always ask me about thinning Mr. Surfacer. There is no strict sort of, 60-40, 50-30, depends what you're doing, how old the paint is, because this Mr. Surfacer, all of them, they thicken over time. So obviously the thicker it is, the more thinner you need. And it depends also, if like me you pour it back in the jar afterwards, then it's getting thinner and thinner all the time because you're using thinned paint. This, as you can see, isn't particularly thin. It's not like ink, but it's a good primer base. We also have that air hole in the top there. Make sure you keep that clear. So the beauty of this airbrush, the big selling point for this one, the big SP, is easy changeover, and that's what they show in their video on their website if you want to go and take a look. You'll need to get a spare jar if you want to do that, obviously, for the quick changeovers. But I can also report that the old Humbrol jar, so if you've got some of these lying around, that fits as well. So there we go. It's not quite a perfect fit, but it does fit and it does stay in there. So if you've got the old Humbrol jars, then you can use, or the old Badger jars. I keep calling it Humbrol, I think it's probably Badger. But if you've got those, they fit as well. So there you go. So basically, yeah, it comes with a 0.3 and a 0.5 needle. I've changed it over to the 0.5 because obviously I'm using a much thicker primer. The reason I'm doing this, I'm setting myself up to paint my my chassis parts for my Poker Porsche 917. I've got rid of ejector pin marks, gone over with some etch primer, and basically ready to paint the black. And I thought what I'll do before I do that, I'll just put a quick video together, and what we're going to do, we're going to paint the bottom of this King Tiger tank from Riffield model that I'm also building at the moment. And what we're going to do, we're going to go over to the brand new booth I've got from Gaahleri, which is a water curtain booth, and we're going to review that at the same time. So what I want to do now is just quickly, using a piece of paper, I want to show you how nice this sprays. We'll get the box out of the way, we don't want to get that covered in paint. I've got a piece of paper here, you can see I've already done a couple of little bits of tests. I'm going to grab my airline. Dottie is not in the room because I'm doing this without extraction, obviously, and if I'm doing a lot of painting, I don't have her in the room at all anyway, which is why my videos have slowed down recently. But as you can hear, we are getting there. As you know, a couple of weeks ago there would be in the background, but there's none of that now, so that's good. So basically I've got the compressor set on about 18 psi. Another thing that Gaahleri say to promote this airbrush, it doesn't need lots of pressure, it only needs about 15 psi. I tend to use 15 to 20 psi, whatever I'm doing, whatever I'm working with. but this is the, remember, this is the 0.5 needle, and this is a thickish paint. So as we can see, it takes a while to come through initially, but then it's just like a normal airbrush. Okay, so, and as I say, remember this is a 0.5 needle, so this is not designed to be fine work at all. This is designed to, you know, for clear coats and covering large areas and stuff, priming and stuff like that. So that's why I've got this set up like this for spraying all those chassis parts. So the beauty of this is what they show on the on their website is the quick changeover. So say I've got this here, this black, and I want to do some you know, mediation or whatever, moderation, not mediation, bloody hell, I'm not talking to a divorce lawyer, moderation, then basically what I would do on here is perhaps spray the bottom in a light grey, and then as I come to, in a black, sorry, and then as I come up I might go a bit lighter. So I might have a couple of jars here, one with like a German grey and then one with an off-white or a grey primer or something, and then I can do a moderation as I go up. And the beauty of it is, rather than having to clean out a cup or anything every time I go, all I need to do is just blow back. Okay, so blow the paint back out of the airbrush. You can see there's hardly anything left in there. Okay, change over to the grey, blow that through on a bit of paper or something, and away you go with the grey. And that is the beauty of this type of airbrush. Or if you're using it for cake decorating or, you know, tanning, whatever, if you just need quick changeovers for a couple of colours, then brilliant. If you're doing fine detail work, you know, and using many different colours, you're probably better off with a normal gravity fed airbrush with the small cup. Gaahleri make loads of them. Something else that's going to be coming your way in the very near future is a brand new airbrush from them, which I think you'll like, which has lots and lots of different options, and I think you'll like that one very much. And also coming your way, I've asked them to send me, but currently they're out of stock in the UK, is their little budget kit where you get a little small compressor and an airbrush, and we're going to see how well that works as well. But anyway, for this purposes of this video, I'm going to stink the room out, and what I'm going to do, here we go. What I'm going to do is prime the bottom of this. Now this paint, as I say, is a little on the thick side, so I'm not expecting an amazing finish, but it should be okay. There we go. We can blast that on now. I'm going all the way back. There we go. It's also worth remembering when you're airbrushing, I say this in every video, down, back, forward, up. Don't do this. When you do that, okay, so you go down, back, forward and up. And then when you press it again, you won't get any spatter. If I just go down and then let it go, next time I touch it, spatter. Okay, so down, back, forward, up, no spatter. Down, let it go, next time you use the airbrush, spatter. Okay, if it's a habit you can't get into, whenever you spray, whenever you start, just start spraying off the model and come onto it. It's not when you start the paint, it's when you start the air it's when you push down that you get the spatter. So just start the air off the model and then come on like that. Okay, and then you won't get the spatter. And as you can see, with this 0.5 needle and this Mr. Surfacer, which is really too thick to be sprayed, I can get a lovely finish on there. But bear in mind this plastic has a texture to it because this is an RFM, it's a brand new kit. It's the King Tiger upgrade version, not even really available in this country yet. You can see I'm just hosing this on and we've got a lovely finish, and you can see on there, you can see the texture in the plastic. It's absolutely beautiful. It's got this hot rolled seal texture, but this video isn't about the model, it's about the airbrush. So there we go, very nice indeed. And as you can see then, I even do it, I let it go. You see, I let it go. I didn't do the proper way of letting go of the airbrush. You can see here, I'm just hosing it on. If you do it properly, then you won't get the spatter. So there we are. All right, so hopefully you've seen enough of that. Cut to air. You can see how thick the paint is by how long it's taking to dry. So there we go. So what I want to do now is just have a look at the spray booth. So what I'm going to do is blow this back through. That's why we need to make sure that air hole is clean in there. Okay, and then I'm going to take this off. Just blow out the little bit of paint that's in there. Okay, and then I'm going to grab a cotton bud. I'm just going to stick a cotton bud up the hole, pull it back out just to give it an initial clean. Alright, and then I can take the air off of there. Put my airline over to one side for a second, and then we'll stand the airbrush in here and we'll leave the cup off. I also need to get a cloth and just wipe off that neck. There we go. So there we are. Right. So we'll get the airbrush into the cabinet. So I'm going to switch cameras now, go over to my iPhone, and we'll have a look at the Gaahleri spray booth. Okay, so here we are over at the booth. I'm here, hi. So this is the Gaahleri AF720 spray booth. Now I've got the camera on a stand here, so I'm going to be rather unprofessional to move it around, but you can see there is the spray booth there. You can see the Gaahleri logo over there. Okay, this is called the AF720. Atlantis Fountain or something it's called. Now I believe they are working on a new model. This one is going to be replaced in the new year, I believe, but we shall see. So basically this is what this was sent to me by them for review, and I've done a video, if you haven't already seen it, on how to set it up and everything. I have only used it a couple of times because of the arrival of Dottie and everything, obviously. And this is basically a water curtain booth. You can see this here. This panel here, this sits in front of the filter. Now what you normally get is just a filter at the back, which gets all clogged up with paint and everything very quickly, especially if you're doing big car bodies and stuff. The filters do get very clogged, and especially if you're using gloss paints. The way this works is when you're actually painting, you've got your extraction on at the back, and I'm going to show you all this in a minute. You've got the extraction on at the back, and it's pulling through that filter. It's pulling away all the vapors and everything, and the dust, the actual paint, is attracted to the water curtain. If you're as old as me, you'll remember the old days you saw spray booths where they sprayed cars, and at the end of the spray booth they had exactly this, a water curtain. And what happens is the water sort of forms an attraction, so because of as it's flowing down, it's pulling the air with it. And it's sort of almost a Venturi effect, and the paint is pulled into the water and goes down into the water. There are filters in the bottom of here. I'm going to pick the camera up again. You can see there are these black filters in the bottom of here. They are carbon filters, so they catch, I think they're called carbon filters, but basically they catch the paint particles as they go down through. Now you can see on here there is a lot of paper and tape and everything. This is obviously not standard. This is me protecting the spray booth, and this is what I always do with my spray booths. What I've got under here is a sheet of polythene, okay? So just like you get your plastic bags like your kits come in, and then it's taped all the way around so it's sealed, okay? Then on top of that there is an old cutting mat, and then on top of that we've got paper. Okay, so and then this paper is sellotaped down as well, and then there's another layer of paper here because obviously this gets really dirty, and then I use yet another layer of paper for testing on, and then keep throwing that away. And what I do is the scrap you can see here, it's the paper that I've had failures with the printing. So I'm not wasting paper, put it that way. You also get this lovely turntable you can use, which you always get with spray booths. So you'll get that as well. I don't tend to use them. I've got a few piled up there. I tend to, like I say, have a piece of paper down here. Now I'm not going to do any actual spraying using this booth because it's pointless. The only way a spray booth can prove its worth is how good it is at extracting paint. Okay, so if you've got a very small spray booth that wouldn't suck the skin off a rice pudding, then you're not going to get a very good action. This thing's got 3 motors in it, 3 fans pulling like anything, and it is brilliant. It is absolutely brilliant. Now, as you know, with all my reviews, I am always honest, and it doesn't matter the fact that I've been given this. I think it's about $250 worth US. I've been given this by Gaahleri. I'm very, very grateful, but I will always give an honest review. And what I will tell you now is what I've already told Gaahleri. And maybe that's why they're doing a redesign. I don't know. But it's a simple fix, and I'm going to do it sometime in the near future. But basically, what happens sometimes when you switch the water on, I'm going to show you all this, the water comes over the top here, okay, and it forms a curtain. Sometimes, for some reason, it runs away from the corner, it'll run away from the middle, and what will happen is it'll make one narrow band come down, and all of a sudden that one narrow band comes down to the bottom and will come over the edge. And now, it wouldn't really matter if you didn't have all this paper. As you can see, all this paper has been soaking wet where I've been experimenting. It hasn't come out this far, believe me. This is where it's run off my arm where I've used my finger and stuff. I'll show you all that in a second. But that's one of the downfalls. Now, I'm wondering if it's something that's kind of bedding in, because it is getting much, much better. Now, I see Sen Navy using one of these. I see Kenneth over at Norwegian Scale Model Bench using one of these, and they don't have any issues whatsoever, but maybe they're just not showing you. But what I'm going to show you is what can happen when you initially switch it on, and I'll bet, because the camera's on, I'll bet it's perfect. We shall see. So I'll show you the controls. Basically, when you look up here, I've got my my fan up here, my towel. You can see up here, there it is, AF720, and you can see that we got this extraction tube on here, okay, going over the top. I've got these little, I've got these here if you want to have a look. Somebody told me to get them. I've got water purification tablets from Amazon, and I put, it's 1 per litre, so you put 7 or 8 of those in there if you haven't got the tank for that. We've also got spare filters, so that's all good. Around here you've got our controls. So where are we? Hang on a minute. What are we doing? Here we go. We've got our controls, and you can see here we've got the red is for the water, the green is for the light. Where am I? What am I doing? The green is for the light, and the rotary knob there is for the fan. Okay, so basically that's it. All right, so what we'll do, we'll switch. I'm going to put the camera back where it was actually, and then I'm going to switch on the water to show you what can happen. I'll put the lights and the water on. Watch, you'll see the water coming up over the top. Okay, you can see it filling that upper chamber, and as you can see, it's not running on the sides. We've got a, over here you can see there's an area here with no water. So I'm going to get this airbrush out of the way. What I'm going to do, just take my finger, okay, run my finger along the top, down the side, and as you can see, it's going back up. We can just run it down again and it'll come down. But sometimes it can be a little bit awkward. I'll do the same on this side. I don't think you can see what I'm doing here, but I'll do the same on this side. Just pull the water down with your finger, just like that. And now we've got a full width curtain going all the way across, you can see there. Okay, and then when you put the extractor on as well, I think that helps the water stay. Here we go. This is what can happen. You can see here, the water has separated. This area here has no water. And you can see here we've got quite a thick stream. Okay, we've got quite a thick stream down here, and that can come over the edge. You can see it's looking like it's going to start coming over the edge. All you do is just take your finger, and that's it. Problem solved. Now, I think it's something that's going to bed in. What I've thought about is polishing it, but what I haven't wanted to do is ruin anything before I do a review. I wanted to give you a true to life review, and I'm kind of in a way glad that happened, because that's what can happen. Now, it's imperative you get it level, because the water needs to be level across the top. So they actually give you a little spirit level with it to set it up with. So that's really handy. But what I found, I set it level, and I kept having problems with the water wanting to come on this end. It always kept going up there. So what I've done now, I've actually not bothered with the spirit level, and I've adjusted the feet to get it so that the water runs out nicely. And you can see there, it's running absolutely perfectly. The extractor, I'll put it on maximum. You can hear it's quite loud, but it is literally just loud. There's no vibration or anything. It's not shaking or anything like that. So you can actually bring the fan down so you can make it quieter. But obviously the less suction you've got, the less effective it's going to be. But I can tell you from using it that when you spray here, you spray into that water, and it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. You can't smell a thing, but that's with the extraction on full. So there we go. That is an honest view of the Gaahleri AF720 water curtain air booth. Okay, airbrush booth. Now what I intend to do in the near future is get some plastic sheet or some aluminium sheet and just literally build a little wall about 1 inch high around here, and then if we get any of this problem here with the water building up, it won't come over. As I say, if you don't have all this paper in here, it's just going to be a quick case of just mopping it up. It's no problem. Anything that does get down there will leak back down into the tank. It won't go over your bench. The tank is actually under here as well, so that's another clever bit of the design. But I've literally got all this tape and paper literally to protect the base, to keep it nice and new. My last one, which was the Bart Sharp booth I was using, which is a great little booth, that one I just wanted to get one of these water curtains just for the, I just really fancied it, to keep the filters clean basically, or the air filter clean. But that one I did the same on, and it looks like brand new inside. Obviously on the sides you get some overspray and stuff, you can't avoid that, but other than that, no, absolutely brilliant. You can see here how the water has come away again, and you can see it's trying to get itself back down. All I'm going to do is get my finger down like that and we're away. Okay, I don't know for a fact, but watching Sen Navy and Kenneth with theirs, I would imagine, and from my experience, I would imagine that is a problem that's going to go away. Somebody said try Rain-X on it, but I would have thought that would make the water chase away. I'm just wondering if it just needs to bed in and it's got some residue of something on it. You can also see another issue on the back. You can see here, you can probably see here, there is some, looks like dust stain marks. They're actually on the back, and I think that's the static of the plastic. The dust is going around the back and getting attracted, so it's going to need a clean now and again. But that is really simple. I'll turn everything off. Okay, leave the light on. But if you do want to clean the back of it, it's relatively simple. At the top, it literally just pushes in on some rubbers and it comes down, so you can get to it to clean it. Very, very nice idea. Okay, so that's it, and it's ready to go again. We'll switch the water back on, see what happens. Let's see what happens. Look at that, it's nearly all the way, it's all the way across the top. We've just got these two little corners, so just do that. That one's done itself. I'm sure that it's going to bed itself in and get there. If you've got one of these, let me know how you get on with it. I also think it's better when the fan's on, because I think the fan is probably helping to pull the air around the front. I don't know, but there we go. Okay, so I also think my water is slightly low because I've got some bubbles. We can see it's separated there. Just touch it, job done. All right, so there we go. Let's get back to the bench. So there we are, guys. That has been the Mobius SP airbrush and the AF720 spray booth. This airbrush is bloody lovely. I think I probably prefer the trigger brush, the swallowtail, to be honest, but I wanted to give this a try, see how well it works, and obviously we're doing this satin black on here. We don't need a professional perfect finish. It just, as I say, just hose it on and it's going to stay there. So there we are. But it's going to give us a lovely finish with the correct paint and everything. But as I say, if you're after an airbrush with a quick changeover, you know, to do multiple colors every day or whatever, then this is obviously, you know, a really good way of going about it. The airbrush is $79.99 US at the moment. There is a sale on. You can enter into a little Wheel of Fortune thing on the website if you go and have a look, and you can get even more money off. But don't forget, use your code NMB, Nigel's Modelling Bench, NMB, and you'll get 10% off. Okay, so thank you for watching. Any questions, any observations? I apologise for the rubbish filming with the Airbrush booth, but I've had to use my iPhone because of the way the situation it's in. The phone was actually stood on the very far Yamato model box, so there we go. So yeah, that's that. As I say, any observations, any questions, and if you have got one of those spray booths, let me know how you're getting on with it, please. I'd be interested to know. Or any modifications you may have made or whatever. But as I say, I have told Gaahleri I think they should increase the size of that lip around the bottom edge, just to avoid any little spills. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.